The rain fell in silver sheets across downtown Boston, blurring the city lights into streaks of gold and white. Inside a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking the harbor, Daniel Harper sat alone at a table set for two. A candle flickered between empty wine glasses, casting warm shadows across his tired face. He checked his watch again. 7:37. His blind date was already 7 minutes late. Normally, that wouldn't have bothered him. But after 3 years of raising his daughter alone, after countless cancelled plans and lonely evenings, tonight felt important. Have you ever waited for something so desperately that every passing minute felt heavier than the last? Daniel knew that feeling. At 39, life had humbled him. His wife had died in a car accident when their daughter Emma was only 5 years old. Since then, every day had become a balancing act between grief, responsibility, and survival. He worked 2 jobs. He packed school lunches. He attended parent-teacher conferences alone. And every night, after Emma fell asleep, he sat in silence wondering if happiness would ever find its way back. Then his phone buzzed. A text message. His heart jumped. But it wasn't his date. It was Emma. "Daddy, don't be nervous. Miss Sarah from next door says first dates are scary." Despite everything, Daniel smiled. His little girl somehow always knew exactly what to say. Before he could reply, the restaurant elevator opened. A woman stepped out. She was beautiful, elegant, confident, but something felt strange. She wasn't looking around for him. Instead, she walked directly toward his table as if she already knew who he was. "Daniel Harper?" she asked. "Yes." The woman sat down without waiting for an invitation. Her smile wasn't warm. It was sharp, calculated. Daniel frowned. "I'm sorry. Are you Olivia?" The woman laughed. "No." Confusion spread through him. "Then who are you?" She leaned back comfortably. "My name is Victoria Cross." The name sounded familiar. Then he remembered. Victoria Cross, CEO of Cross Tech Industries, one of the largest technology companies in New England. "What are you doing here?" Daniel asked. Victoria folded her hands. "Your blind date isn't coming." A cold sensation moved through his chest. "What?" "I bought her reservation." Daniel stared. For a moment he wondered if this was some kind of joke. But Victoria wasn't smiling anymore. Then she reached into her purse and placed a file on the table. His name was written across the front. Suddenly his stomach tightened. "What is this?" "Research." Daniel opened the folder. Inside were details about his financial history, employment records, property information, even photographs. His pulse quickened. "What the hell is this?" Victoria's expression remained emotionless. "My company is considering a major acquisition." Daniel looked confused. "I don't understand. You own something I need." The rain hammered harder against the windows. Every instinct inside him told him something was wrong. Very wrong. Victoria leaned forward. "The problem is that people like you always think they have leverage." Daniel's jaw tightened. "People like me. A struggling single father." The words landed like a slap. Around them, diners continued eating, unaware that Daniel's entire evening had become something else. Something cruel. Something deliberate. Victoria smiled. And for the first time, Daniel realized this wasn't business. It was humiliation. Public, calculated, and deeply personal. What he didn't know yet was that within the next hour, the woman trying to destroy him would lose something far more valuable than money. Daniel stared at Victoria as thunder rolled beyond the restaurant windows. "What exactly do you want from me?" he asked. Victoria crossed her legs calmly. 3 years ago, you inherited a small software company from your brother." Daniel's eyes narrowed. Now he understood. His brother Michael had built cybersecurity systems before his sudden death. The company wasn't large, but it owned a unique security protocol that several major corporations had tried to acquire, including Cross Tech. "I already told your lawyers no," Daniel said. Victoria smiled. "Exactly. So you hijacked my blind date." "I wanted to meet the man foolish enough to reject $50 million. The cruelty in her voice drew stares from nearby tables. Daniel felt embarrassment burning inside him. Not because of what she was saying. Because she seemed determined to reduce his entire life to a number. "Have you ever met someone who saw money as the answer to every question?" Victoria leaned closer. "Let's be honest. You're drowning." Daniel remained silent. 2 jobs. Mortgage payments. A daughter to support. She opened the folder again. "You need this deal. For a moment, Daniel thought about Emma. Her soccer practices. Her school projects. The future he wanted to give her. Then he remembered something Michael once told him. Never sell something you believe can help people just because someone richer wants control of it. Daniel slowly closed the folder. No. Victoria blinked. No. The answer is still no. For the first time all evening, she looked genuinely irritated. Then her phone rang. She answered immediately. The confidence vanished from her face. What? The person on the other end spoke rapidly. Victoria stood up. What do you mean the system is down? Her voice rose. Nearby diners turned. No. That's impossible. Silence. Then her face turned pale. Daniel watched as panic replaced arrogance. What happened? He asked quietly. Victoria lowered the phone. Our entire network has been compromised. Daniel immediately understood. Crosstech was under cyber attack. A serious one. Employees would be locked out. Customer data could be exposed. Millions could disappear within hours. Victoria grabbed her purse. I have to go. Then she stopped. Slowly. Painfully. Her eyes returned to Daniel. Because suddenly she remembered exactly what his brother's company specialized in. Cybersecurity. The room felt still. You can stop this, she whispered. Daniel didn't answer. 30 minutes earlier she had publicly humiliated him. Now she needed him. What would you do in that moment? Would you take revenge? Would you let her suffer? Daniel thought about it. Then he thought about Emma. The lessons he tried to teach her every day. Kindness. Integrity. Character. Values that mattered most when nobody was watching. He stood. Let's go. Victoria stared. You'll help me. Daniel nodded. People's jobs are on the line. An hour later they stood inside Crosstech headquarters. Engineers rushed through hallways. Executives panicked. Computer screens flashed warning messages. But Daniel remained calm. For 6 straight hours he worked beside exhausted technicians. Piece by piece. Problem by problem. Until finally the attack was contained. The system stabilized. The crisis ended. A wave of relief swept through the building. Victoria sat quietly in a conference room afterward. For the first time, she looked human. Not powerful. Not ruthless. Just tired. I owe you everything, she said softly. Daniel shook his head. No. She looked confused. You don't owe me anything. After what I did. Daniel thought for a moment. Then he smiled sadly. My daughter asks me one question every night. What question? He looked out at the city lights. She asks whether the world is still full of good people. Victoria lowered her eyes. And what do you tell her? Daniel smiled. I tell her yes. Tears appeared in Victoria's eyes. Because she finally understood. The ultimate revenge wasn't humiliation. It wasn't power. It wasn't making someone suffer. It was refusing to become the kind of person who hurt you. And sometimes the strongest victory is showing kindness to someone who expected your cruelty. That night Daniel returned home. Emma ran into his arms. And for the first time in years, he felt something quietly returning to his heart. Not success. Not wealth. Peace.